What about this matchup is catching your eye immediately on tape?
It's the same thing in your division. You know them very well. They know you. They're extremely fast. Outstanding defense, have been the last 3 or 4 years. Extremely well coached, and they don't make very many mistakes.
Or how's the injuries with Olsen and the offensive line impact what you're trying to do?
Yeah. You just got to make the adjustments you need to make, and we're going to miss Greg in a lot of ways. His leadership, his understanding of what we're doing. He's really been a help to Ian. He's been in some of the meetings and still helping them this week. So we'll miss him. I feel good about the offensive line. I think it all sorts out, and we line up on Sunday, we'll be in good shape.
Norv, what did you like about Ian when you did pre-draft study of him?
Well, the obviously our personnel people, Marty and our scouting department, they kind of led us to him and talked about him. So all we had to do was watch. And the biggest thing is what you see is he can really run, and he can track the ball and go get the ball. And he was obviously very raw. He was in a spread offense. We knew he had a lot of work to do, but that's what Pete Haynert does. He takes these young guys and coaches them and develops them, and he's as good a tight end coach as I've been around. And he's the two of them. They've gotten ready to play.
Or if you're starting some guys who are just getting here on the offensive line, does it limit what you can do with your play calling?
Well, it's just
Chris Clark starts.
the biggest thing is, you manage what you have, and we were a little limited late in the game the other day. It was a tough matchup for a couple of guys, so you manage it the best you can. And like I said, I'm confident we won't have limitations when we go play Atlanta on Sunday.
Norv, what was it about Chris Clark that made him sort of an attractive addition to the offensive line group?
Well, again, the scouting department, our offensive line, John Matsko, those guys, they watch so many different guys, and Clark was a guy that was available and has some really good skills, so it was a good fit.
Or you ran Cam 13 times in the opener. A lot of us were a little bit surprised by that much because we hadn't seen what you were going to do with him. What did you like about what he did in the opener, and what didn't you like?
Well, I was surprised by the number, and then you realize 3 of them were taking a knee at the end of the game, and a couple of them in the fourth quarter. Like I said, we were just making sure we didn't have something major happen in a negative way. So I thought he managed the game, and I thought he was very decisive in the passing game. There were a number of times where he was really quick checking the ball down, giving the backs a chance to run, he got Jarius in the red zone, gave him a chance to turn and run. So he made very good decisions. He had a good ball game.
When you make adjustments as the offensive line starts to find its rhythm after being reshuffled so many times, what kinds of things make it easier on an offense to click into a rhythm quicker?
Cam Newton. He hides a lot of things, a lot of deficiencies, and you can't ask him to carry everything. But we have talented guys. We have receivers who can run and catch. We have backs who can run and catch. We have tight ends who have multiple skills. So, we just we have to take our guys and see where we match up against Atlanta and get the best matchups we can and avoid the real bad matchups.
Norv, not a lot down the field last week. Was that a product of what Dallas was giving you, and would you expect more going forward?
I was on our guys during the week, all week, about getting too deep. Our defensive players who were representing Dallas, our opponent squad, I was on them all week because I said, you're getting way too deep. They're not gonna get that deep. Their backers aren't gonna drop that deep. They're not gonna give us underneath stuff that easy, and their backers got deeper than the guys who didn't practice, and they were all giving me a hard time on Monday. So, there's some times they just turned and ran, and you're checking the ball down to Christian, and he's running 8-10 yards before he has to avoid a tackler. So it won't be that easy always.
Norv, I know you talked about getting Christian the ball, 25 times a game. I think he touched it 16 this past week. Was that what they did to you defensively, and do you see that changing?
I think, like I said, it's a week-to-week deal, and I thought we had a good rhythm between CJ and Christian, and we got to get 5 or 6 of those carries and let CJ that Cam had, and let CJ and Christian get, and we'll be a little more in line to what we said.
Cam was stumping yesterday for getting some time out at wide receiver. Said he was a matchup nightmare on offense.
Who was that?
Cam.
Yeah.
And
He's
done
playing
all
right where he belongs.
Norv, what will the losses on the Falcons defense with Jones and Neal, what will that do to them, do you think? I know you said they're very fast, but and those
Yeah.
are 2 of their faster guys.
It's like what I'm talking about. We've had some changes, and obviously you're gonna miss Greg Olsen, but you find a way to adjust and make it a positive situation. They're in the same boat with their middle linebacker and safety, and they have a good young safety who's very impressive on tape, stepping in there, and they do have multiple backers that can really run. So they're doing what we're doing. They're adjusting their deal and making the best that it can be, and they've got good players, and they've got those guys. One thing about it with your young players, they've been playing a lot in preseason. The guys are stepping in there and playing. They've been playing a lot in preseason, so they've had a lot of reps.
How many points do you think is a winning score in the NFL these days? I mean, do you guys have a specific goal of 24 or 27 or something?
I was disappointed. I thought we moved the ball, particularly in the first half. I thought we should have had 17 points at halftime, and obviously we fumbled the ball down in there, and we lost the timeout in the 2-minute drive. If we'd had that timeout, I think we would have had a better chance of scoring there. But I think every game is different, and you're going to be in games. The guy Ernie Zampese, who I spent a lot of time offensively with, he used to talk to the team and say, "Hey, if they score 37, we have to score 38. Okay, if they score 12, we have to score more than 12." And every game is different, and you just have to be flexible enough and adjust to it. But yeah, we want to score, and we want to score as many as we can.
What do you think?
Couple more guys.
What do you think of Cam's impression of you?
You know what? I heard about it, and I got a few texts. My phone blew up a little bit. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know if I can do that to myself, force myself to watch it.
He says you like baby a lot.
Last one, Dave.
I probably say it a lot, but I'm not saying it to him. That's for sure.